Voice of the Cougs, Matt Chazanow.
It is that time of the week. It's great to be here, and you may notice if you're watching, and you'll hear it, that this is not Brian Green at the moment. This is our Director of Baseball Ops, Trevor Hairgrove. Brian Green, non-COVID related, on the shelf at the moment. He is under the weather. We wish him the absolute best. He will be ready for Thursday. I think he'll be ready for Thursday. He better be ready for Thursday.
He'll be ready for Thursday. We got the test this morning. Everything's clean. We're good.
He's all good.
Yeah, we're all good. But
it's nothing to do with COVID.
No.
Which is, we do have to state that and confirm it. But
Correct.
He's all good. He will be all good. He was almost all good for the show, but he wanted to stay home, and we wish Skip the best. We'll have also our pitching coach, Anthony Claggett, on. We'll have our director of recruiting and third base coach, Terry Davis, will be on the headset as well. We start now with our director of ops, Trevor Hairgrove, and before we get into Cougs and Huskies and the rivalry, which will be Thursday, Friday, Saturday coming up this week, I want to talk a little bit about you, and we would do this in reverse order in any normal year, where we'd probably have you on as a new coach here on the Palouse, but with COVID and with everything that's gone on the last couple seasons, let's take a little time to have a very belated personal introduction here to the fan base. You played shortstop at UC Riverside. You played pro ball. We talked a little bit about it here off air, but let's get into it. Your career started where in high school, and then how'd you get to UC Riverside, and what's your path been?
Yeah, high school, Redlands, East Valley, in Redlands, California. It's about halfway between LA and Palm Springs. You get on the 10, you drive from LA to Palm Springs, you run in a little town called Redlands. That's where I went to high school. From there, went to UC Riverside, and had the opportunity to start as a freshman. About 12 games in, the guy in front of us, he went down with a dislocated shoulder, dove at Texas Tech, and then I got thrown into the fire and didn't let it go. But I had the great opportunity to do that. Played for a great man that Coach Green knows very well, and obviously Anthony Claggett, he played at Riverside before me, but Doug Smith, and learned a lot from him. Mentor, great guy, great human being. Taught me a lot about life and a lot about baseball. From there, after my senior year, did 4 years at Riverside, went on to the Angels, got drafted in the 18th round, played for their short season rookie ball team in Orem, Utah, which we actually got to go back and play at UVU.
Yeah, how was that? Was that a little bit weird?
It was. I got to do it in 19. We were at New Mexico State. We went up there for a series. That was the first time being back and brought back a lot of memories. But going back again, it brought them back again as well.
I bet. It's always weird to visit a place you spend a lot of time at. You're not there regularly anymore.
And especially being the first stop in your professional career. The memories made there, the first home run, all that kind of stuff. And just a great setting of the mountains behind. And they got a brand new turf field, so the place is awesome.
Is it a shared stadium?
Not anymore.
Okay.
Not anymore. I think the Owls are done. The Angels didn't pick them up, or any other ball club
with the contraction.
That stuff. So I don't think they are. But after that, moved up to Low A, which was Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Played for the Colonels there. Did a full season there. Turned into the utility guy. The fun thing about it, and kind of where wheels started spinning for me of wanting to get in the coach thing, I had to start at every position except center field and catcher throughout the season. And I think it was close to at least 10 starts at every position.
Wow. So, that's a lot.
It wasn't just like 1-1-1-1, but.
So why did that make you want to coach?
Just seeing the game at all the different positions. And at that time, it kind of, when they move you into that role, you kind of know that your time, your time's a little limited now. So you're kind of hanging on to dear life, but being able to see the game from, left field, first base, I was a third string catcher, never got in there, but catching bullpens and doing all that, you see the game in a different light. And that's when the wheels started turning for that. But made it through spring training the next year in 2013, and then was assigned to Inland Empire 66ers.
Where's that?
That's San Bernardino, California.
Okay.
10 minutes away from home.
Oh, okay.
Got to live at home. Got to play in front of my family.
That's amazing.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
I got to go home and sleep in my own bed
That's
every night.
the most. I've never heard of that before.
I was very lucky.
Yeah.
I made sure guys are out of town that I was close with. Hey, you're coming over for dinner Sunday
That's
night.
awesome.
So that was great. And then about midway through the season, got called up to Double-A. It was only for a week, but made it to Double-A.
Yeah.
Had a couple starts up there, and then they sent me back down to Triple-A, or back down to High A, back down to Inland Empire. And then about a couple weeks after that, got the release, and ended up signing on with the St. Paul Saints,
okay,
independent team in the American Association. Great place. They have a brand new ballpark now, but when I played there, it was Midway Stadium, old, but I mean they had 9,000 fans a night.
Wow.
And small world baseball is, Coach Claggett played before me, didn't meet him at Riverside. Get to St. Paul, look up the roster. He's a pitcher on the St. Paul Saints. Go straight up to him. Trevor Hairgrove used to Riverside, and that's how that connection started.
What is small world?
Very small.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
So finish out the season there in 13, and Coach Smith, Doug Smith at Riverside called me back and said, "Hey, our undergrad spot's available. Do you want it?" And said, "Yeah, I'm in. I'll come back, start coaching. Got my school paid for to finish my degree." And that's where it all began.
So you're there back at Riverside, and you're starting to coach, and you knew Clags from St. Paul. So you're at Riverside, and who was on the staff there? And then how did you get – so bring me from Riverside to the Palouse.
Yeah, perfect. So 2014, first year as a coach, undergrad assistant, starting January. The staff there was Doug Smith, Bobby Applegate, Bryson LeBlanc, and then Jake Valentine, who's now assistant at Portland.
Okay.
But ended up doing that. Second year, we hired Troy Percival.
Oh, wow.
Closer for the Angels.
Sure.
10th all-time in the saves leader. And I get to stay on with him undergrad, and then I move into the ops role, and then I was with him for 4 more years.
Okay.
So it's the summer of 2018, early August. I'm working a camp at San Manuel Stadium, which is the home of the Inland Empire 66ers.
Uh-huh.
And Coach Claggett shows up there with the New Mexico State jersey on. And back when I played, and even, 2000, I think we played them in 2016, actually, New Mexico State.
Okay.
They came to Riverside. Horrible. Not a good place. Like, you hear New Mexico, I'm serious. You hear New Mexico State, and it's not good.
Las Cruces?
Yeah, not Las Cruces, just the baseball program at the time.
Oh, okay.
At the time, during that time. But when I meet Coach Clads, and that's all I knew at the time.
Yeah.
He told me, "Hey, the volunteer spot is open at Mexico State. If you want to do it, let me know, and we'll give you Coach Green's number." And I knew Coach Green when I played. When I played at Riverside from 08 to 11, 2008, he was at UCLA. Played against him in a series. So I knew who he was. I knew he was from the Inland Empire, Temecula. Never met him, but knew the name and all that. So we get to the camp, tells me that. So go home and talk to my wife. She looks up prices to live in Las Cruces. Yeah, we can do it.
That works.
We can do it. So
Sure.
Put my name in, went through the interview process, ended up getting hired.
Yeah.
Be the volunteer at Las Cruces.
Got it.
Awesome place. Great Mexican food.
Nice.
Great food all around.
Yeah.
Cool town. The ball absolutely flies there.
Uh-huh.
Hit. And then get on staff and work with all these guys, and Coach Green gets to call you.
Got it. And then you get, I see, and now you're all connected.
And now we're all connected.
Big West baseball is really good, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd say it's down the last couple years,
Okay.
but at the time when Clags and I played, it was 3-4 teams in the regional every single year.
Yeah, it's got a great top-end reputation.
It does. They add a few more teams. I see it getting better, but it's been down the last few years. But at the time, it was real baseball.
So how about let's talk PAC now with your perspective. You've got up to AA ball. You've been a West Coast guy. You're from California, and now you've been through the PAC one time. I mean, you've been around because of New Mexico State, but in the PAC you've had this one season now. Give me your impression here of Pac-12 baseball.
Just better athletes all around. Every team, there's 6, 7, 8 athletes on the field at a single time. It's faster. Just stronger, not in the sense of, stronger power, but I would definitely just stick with that athleticism. I mean, there's just athletes across the field. And then on the mound, there's a lot of pitchability. Not a huge ton of velo. Oregon State's got a lot of velo. But the arms you run in on the weekend, especially Friday, Saturday, Sunday, there's just pitchability guys that can dump in 3 pitches for a strike at any time. And that's what I've seen after this first year going through.
You're the first base coach, and we'll take a break here, and then we'll come back. We'll talk about this weekend a little bit, but also this year and the Cougar perspective, and also I was going to talk to BG about what's to come. Also, this is our last coaches show, so we won't have another opportunity to do much of a 2022 preview, and I don't want to get too deep into that because we still have to play the Huskies here, but there are decisions to be made for some there will be decisions to be made for some really good Coug ball players, and then there are also some really talented young guys that we need to talk about. We're here with Director of Operations Trevor Hairgrove, as well as our pitching coach Anthony Claggett to come, and Terry Davis as well here as we get set for this game here against the Huskies Thursday at 3 o'clock. We'll go Thursday 3 o'clock, Friday 3 o'clock, Saturday 1 o'clock. So 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 1 o'clock. Is that right?
Don't miss the 05 though.
Say 305, 105. Appreciate that.
Right.
Let's get specific about it. All right, we're live here back. We'll talk baseball here with Trevor Hairgrove next.
For Cougs, there's no place like WSU. Late night apps at the Coug, early morning tailgating at Martin Stadium, and every day spent rocking the crimson and gray. And until we get back to campus, Cougs can keep a piece of home wherever they go with the official WSU debit and credit cards from BECU. Learn more at becu.org/WSU. Federally insured by NCUA.
The weather is changing, and now is the time to prepare your home for winter with some new energy-efficient windows from McVeigh Brothers. McVeigh Brothers specializes in top-rated Coeur window series that has the newest technology to reduce your heat bills and the perfect replacement doors to secure your home. And right now, when you install 4 new quality windows, we'll give you the 5th window at 50% off.
McVeigh Brothers Siding and Windows, we're working for you.
Give us a call for your free quote today.
This is Cougar Baseball on the Washington State Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
And now, a moment of chill from Coors Light. Coors Light, mountain cold refreshment, made to chill in a canoe, holding a beer instead of a paddle. 2020 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
Do you ever pay attention to overhead power lines? If you're like most people, you don't, but you should. Especially when you're working up on a roof or carrying a ladder outdoors. Kids who climb trees and fly kites and adults with drones need to watch out for power lines too. And on the off chance that you find a downed power line, stay at least 10 feet away and quickly call 911 and Avista. Always pay attention to power lines. It's your best line of defense. Avista, we just want you to be safe.
You're live with the Director of Baseball Operations, Trevor Hairgrove, and we've got the skipper on the DL, if you will, at the moment. He'll be back with us on Thursday. He's fine. He'll be back with us on Thursday.
24 DL.
24-hour DL. He's a little soft. Let's be honest. I don't know. Am I not allowed to say that? He's probably. I know he's listening, or hoping. Maybe he isn't. Maybe he's not. So I said it behind his back. We love him. He's not. He's nails. Actually, he's fine. He's great. So you are. I lost my train of thought now. No. We were going to talk about your first base coach and here with the Cougs, right? And you're in with the cages with BG, with the skip, and you've got kind of a unique perspective of what this hitting process is, going back to Las Cruces with the skip, because the results have been fantastic. I mean, really 1 through 9, especially since Jake Meyer's gotten hot and been hitting really well in that kind of 7-8 spot. Mm-hmm. And then Kyle Russell was down there hitting 300 for a little while. And, Keith Jones, which we touched on before the break, Nate Swartz has really had his moments. These guys can really hit, So what is your role in that with BG? And then what's your observation been going back to the 2019 team that won the WAC? Mm-hmm. With New Mexico State that hits so well with Tristan Peterson, and how do you guys do it?
I would say we keep it simple. We keep it very simple. Of there's kind of 3 keys to the swing: the balance, getting in the slot position, and separation. And if you can do those 3 things, you're going to hit. Obviously, we're going to give you approach. We're really good with teaching an approach, approach pitcher to pitcher, what the guy's going to do, breaking it down. The charting we keep with them as well. But the biggest thing that I think we do so well on top of all that is we gain the trust of our players. Mm-hmm. Without that, you're not going to get anywhere with any guys. You build that trust with them so that when you do give them something to work on, they take it in. They say, okay, I'm going to try it. If you don't have that trust, they're just going to look at you and say, well, I took one swing and it didn't work. And so building that trust from the get-go, as soon as they get here, that's the main thing that I think enables us to become the great hitting teams that have been.
Yeah, it must be hard because you're working on either augmenting some habits, you know, or unwinding some habits that are probably coached. Right? I mean, at some point, someone told someone to do something, so you're either unwinding that, and that takes a trust, I guess, is the appropriate word there for that.
It does, and another key to his our recruiting coordinator, Terry Davis, he knows what to look for. He knows what's going to work with Skip. I mean, he's not going to bring somebody in that.
So you mean that Terry, and we'll talk to him in a little bit, but he's going to go look for someone that he knows is going to be coachable to what you guys want to do.
Correct. Correct. Coachable, or if he sees something in a swing that Skip has had the track record of fixing, he knows he can fix it and get it better as long as we can build that trust.
Interesting.
It is. It's a well-oiled machine that, there's a lot of moving parts to it, but they work real well together, and it works out pretty well.
When did you know, when you got to Las Cruces and you were working with these guys, hey, this is going to work from a coaching chemistry perspective? Like, hey, we all flow together, because that takes a lot of trust.
It does.
From Terry Davis to Brian Green to you to Claggett.
Yeah. For me personally, I think it was all of us kind of had the same lingo when it came to hitting. When we talked about hitting, when we talked about a swing, it was all kind of the same lingo that we used. We talked about certain keys that we use, and talking about the slot, it was the same position. One thing I have learned from Skip is using the lower half more. I was kind of more of a handsy guy that let's fix this with the hands, but learning it out, he's a base guy. He's the base guy, and you use the legs. It cleans up a lot of things a lot quicker. But yeah, the lingo, the way we talk about hitting, the way we talk about players, that's when I knew it would click. Another thing, like I knew it would click, and I knew Skip was such a great hitting coach. Is, I get to Las Cruces, and it's the first time that all we did was hit off machines. And when I played, I couldn't hit off machine. I hated it. I needed a live arm, but hitting off machine, you create your own rhythm, create your own timing. And if you come out to our BPs, you see us on the road, we only use a machine.
Yeah, we've noticed that.
Yeah,
so that's intentional
totally.
Yeah,
totally. It's totally intentional to be able to create guys' rhythm. And obviously they're getting more swings. You get a live arm in there. There's going to be balls here and there, but with a 40-minute BP, you get a machine going, feeding the same speed, the same spot every time. You can get in and out pretty quick, and it also showcases your guys pretty well also. Yeah.
First base coach, you ever have any, and I got to let you go here in a second. Yeah. We're up against the break, and then we're going to have either Clags or Terry Davis on here, but you ever have any close calls there for a little foul ball coming your way, first base?
There's been a few.
Yeah.
There's been a few.
He's got the quick feet, though. He's got the quick feet.
There's been a few. I do have to say COVID helped me out being able to get on the field. Director of ops, you're not a coach, but with Coach Bergeron leaving so quickly this season,
I see.
We got the waiver.
Got it.
And that got me on the field and kind of became that third coach.
Got it.
And so it's been great.
Also, you've known Bobby Allworth for like a decade, right?
Close. I mean, we crossed paths.
I'm sorry. It's hard. That's difficult. That's tough. Yeah. It's hard here, but, we manage.
Oh, he's great. He's an IU boy, too.
Oh, you're so politically correct.
I know.
Yeah. Wow. All right. How about that? Bobby prepped you well for this interview.
He did.
Thank you for this time. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It was great.
Absolutely. Trevor Hairgrove, our director of operations here. You excited for the Huskies?
Totally. We're excited. First Apple Cup.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
Yeah.
A lot of energy.
Yeah.
We got to promote fans.
Yeah.
We got to promote the ticket sales.
What do we know the numbers on that?
I want to say it's like 625.
Okay. All right.
25% maybe.
We'll figure it out.
Whatever that 25% is. But
all right. Excited.
Hopefully it's sold out for 25.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Thank you. Thanks for the time, buddy.
No, thank
all right,
you.
Appreciate you. All right, that's Trevor Hairgrove, Director of Ops. We'll come back with Anthony Claggett or Terry Davis as we're live here talking baseball.
At Boeing, we support events that bring us closer, make our communities better places to live and work, and help us build a sound future together. That's why we are proud to be the title sponsor of the Boeing Apple Cup Series. When we celebrate this long-standing rivalry, we celebrate Washington's spirit, and that's something we can all get behind. The Boeing Apple Cup Series, here for the rivalry, here for the tradition.
Some just see a lottery ticket, but it's actually a whole lot more. It helps contribute to education across the state. It's for the stadium and sports fans.
Sounders win it again!
for local businesses and the neighbors who run them.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm good, thanks.
For the chance to enrich people's lives.
Oh my gosh, we won!
A little something for all of us.
When you play Washington's lottery, all of Washington wins. Must be 18 or older to purchase.
This is Scott Hatterberg, and you're listening to Cougar Baseball on the Washington State Sports Network.
Business as usual is a thing of the past, but the entrepreneurial spirit keeps us closing in on our dream. That's why U.S. Bank makes sure solutions are a conversation away, so we can help you adapt and evolve your business, no matter what comes up. Because even in uncertainty, you can be certain we have your back. U.S. Bank. We'll get there together. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
At Northern Quest, we're celebrating our 20th anniversary. But with over 220 grand in cash and prizes up for grabs, you could be celebrating a whole lot more, like a new Ford Bronco Sport in your driveway or more cash in your pocket. We've also got hotel discounts for Camus Rewards members, dining specials, spa and shopping discounts, and anniversary cocktails all month long. Northern Quest $220,000 anniversary celebration. Details at northernquest.com.
Back to your live talking baseball. We're actually in the football TV press box as we have wound our way here to the last coaches show of this year. We're here with our pitching coach now, Anthony Claggett. Clag, thanks for the time, man. It's good to talk to you.
Thanks for having us. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. We've got BG on the mend. He'll be with us back Thursday. He's all good, non-COVID related, which is mandatory to mention here. Mm-hmm. You are a pro ball player for 11 years. Also pitched at Riverside. You were a high-round draft pick and didn't cross paths with Trevor Hairgrove at Riverside, but did later in Minnesota.
That's correct, yeah. He came in a couple of years after me, and I was actually a middle infielder going into Riverside.
Is that right?
Yeah, couldn't hit, so they turned me into a pitcher. Lucky enough, gave me an opportunity to play pro ball.
You're a tall middle infielder.
I was pretty good size, yeah. I was slender, but had a good arm.
Yeah.
Just couldn't hit.
Yeah.
That was the only issue.
11th round draft pick and a heck of a pitcher, and got to the Yankee and Pirate organization after 11 years. What was your 11-year pro ball journey? How would you sum it up? I mean, you got to the bigs.
Yeah, it was a windy road, but for the most part, I hit every step along the way. Got drafted in 2005 with the Tigers, actually, pitched in low A. And then during that offseason, got traded to the Yankees.
Okay.
And then hit high A, double A, triple A. Then got to big leagues with the Yankees and had a short stint there. And then got traded over to the Pirates, played a little bit in the big leagues with them. And then a couple of years after, bounced around double A, triple A, stuff like that. And then hit independent ball for a little bit. And that's where I finished my career and then started coaching.
So you go from, you're in Minnesota playing independent ball and got into coaching in Palm Springs, is that right? Did I have that right?
Riverside.
Back at Riverside is where we started. Okay.
Yeah, so I actually coached right at the end of my independent ball league. I actually started coaching there. Spent one summer there.
In St. Paul?
It was actually in New Jersey with the New Jersey Jackals.
Okay.
Can-Am League. Yeah,
what town is that in?
That's in Montclair, New Jersey.
All right.
Yeah, pretty fun league.
Yeah.
But got an opportunity to start coaching there, and we had a couple ex-big leaguers there.
Yeah, did you play the Somerset Patriots and the Newark Bears in that league?
I actually played with the Somerset Patriots for a little bit, too.
That's funny. Yeah.
So, but then from there, got an opportunity to go to the college level and went to Riverside City College, where one of my main mentors, Dennis Rogers, gave me an opportunity and took over for actually Rolando Garza, who is another one of my mentors who went to Pepperdine and now is the pitching coordinator for the Tampa Bay Rays. So, long line of pitching coaches there. Got a great opportunity to learn from arguably the best coach in Southern California and up and down the West Coast, Dennis Rogers. And then that's where I got the connection with Coach Brian Green and never looked back.
So when you went from playing to coaching, how different was it for you to communicate to pitchers what your vision of what they need to do, as opposed to, because 11 years is a long time when you're thinking about how you're trying to get to the bigs, and then you've got to flip that perspective. You got to go, all right, this guy needs these things to get his dream accomplished and his success on the field. How do you change that perspective? How do you learn how to do that?
Well, to be honest, it was a long time in the making because my dad was a coach.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think I had it in my blood a little bit, but going straight from playing to coaching, and kind of knowing you're going to be a coach while you're still playing, you just kind of gain that lingo, that way to talk to a player as a coach, but still have the feeling as a player. The connection, it was easy to connect with players, and I take that till this day. I'm getting further away from my playing days, but I still like to get up on the mound every once in a while and throw the baseball and teach some guys some pitching stuff and so on and so forth. But I think from the perspective and having the feeling of what it feels like to be in a game as a player helps me a lot, just talking and spitting the game, especially from a mental side to the players.
Where'd you learn the kind of process of like, all right, you're now the pitching coach here, you're calling the pitches, right? So I see you down in the dugout and I can see the communication, what's going on, and there must be a process to how you want to call a game, and learning what pitchers can do in certain situations and all that they're going through emotionally. Did you learn that at Riverside when you got into coaching and then took it and ran with it yourself?
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, you actually do it in pro ball.
It's
you and the catcher. You're calling your own game in a sense. They say that all the time. But if you have a good connection with the catcher, usually he's on the same page as you.
Yeah.
But you're still learning it as a player as you go along, and you use the same kind of knowledge as a coach now to call pitches. But there's so much that goes into it. There's scouting report. My main thing is who we have on the mound and what's his stuff, and we're always going to go and pitch to what his best stuff is, obviously towards that hitter's weaknesses, and hopefully it works out.
All right, let's take a break here. We're with the pitching coach, Anthony Claggett. We're going to talk a little bit more about this specific Coug roster, and we've got the Huskies coming up. That's a big one here this Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Not the weekend, but the weekend. Thursday, Friday, Saturday here against UW. We're live here, back talking baseball.
Boost Collaborative is a proud sponsor of Cougar Baseball and is a proud supporter of people with disabilities on the Palouse. For over 50 years, Boost Collaborative has been here to help families and their toddlers meet developmental milestones. For youth and adults, Boost provides job placement, on-the-job training, and follow-along supports. Now you can play a part in Boost's success through your donations and purchases at Palouse Treasures Thrift Store in Pullman. Boost Collaborative, empowering people with disabilities on the Palouse. Go Cougs!
Hi, it's Ruben Mays, proud Cougar and proud supporter of Pullman Regional Hospital. Our community hospital is working tirelessly to keep you and our community safe. Thank you for your generous support in the face of major expenses related to COVID-19. But listen, there's more work to be done. We need space to house a medical residency program to ensure continued access to family medicine physicians. We need you. Join us. Visit pullmanregional.org and click on Highest Needs to learn how you can help. Thank you, and welcome to the team.
Your home for Cougar baseball.
Kiss it goodbye off the scoreboard. A walk-off.
The Washington State Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Get game day ready at Rosars. Rosars is a proud sponsor of WSU Athletics and your headquarters for keeping snacks stocked up for game time. You'll find the largest craft beer selection, local and imported wines, and all the makings for your favorite cocktails. And while you're there, stock up on your favorite deli snacks, pizza, rotisserie chickens, and ribs. Don't just watch the game, experience it with your favorite game time foods. Get game day ready at Rosars.
At Coeur d'Alene Casino, we're still rockin', still cooking, still shaking, still relaxing, and still winning. And we're doing it all safely. So leave the cleaning and care to us, and we'll leave the relaxing, indulging, and winning to you. Book our ready-to-escape package today for just $89.99, including a one-night stay, 2 Huckleberry Deli vouchers, and $10 extra play cash. Coeur d'Alene Casino. Welcome home.
Back here live with the pitching coach, Anthony Claggett, as we're getting set actually for the Huskies Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Coug pitching this year. You have had, you could see it kind of funnel down to really 6 guys. Michael Newstrom with the new record for appearances in a season has been a huge part of it, 32 appearances. He's been phenomenal. But you came into last year meeting Zane Mills and Brandon White and Michael Newstrom, and there have been some new names and new arms you've worked with here this year also, but for the most part, you've kind of had to figure out here what we're dealing with this year, and now you've got your rotation, but it's taken a little while. How do you work with new arms and guys who have been here before? And, what's that adjustment like for you as a coach, and what do you look for initially?
Yeah, well, let's start with Zane and Brandon. And when you get when you come in as a new pitching coach and you got a guy who maybe just for a year, maybe two, you got to really build a connection really fast. And Coach Hairgrove was talking about how the hitters, you got to get trust. And once you get that, then the development process can start happening really fast. And so I think with Zane and Brandon, gained quite a bit of trust right off the bat. And let's back up to last year, just starting with AJ Block.
Yeah.
He was here for a year.
Yeah, congrats to AJ getting bumped up today.
Yeah, that's sweet.
A.
Yeah, he's having a heck of a year to start his professional career, and really happy for him.
Yeah,
he's going to be really good. So,
yeah.
But when you get a guy like that, and you kind of know you're going to have him for a year, there's specific things that you kind of attack right away. Maybe it's the mental game, maybe it's certain pitchability things, maybe it's refining pitches, whatever the case may be, mechanics. But you only have a certain amount of time. So we did that with AJ last year, and it worked out, and he now gets a chance to play pro ball and continue on. But same thing with Zane, Brandon. We're working on quite a few things. Zane has had what I think is a really good year. He's gotten hit a little bit too much, I would say, but he's worked on a few things. He's going to be a great pro one day when it happens. And same thing with Brandon. He's got some things to work on. But you mentioned Mike Newstrom to start off, and I think for biggest thing on our pitching staff is what we are looking for is consistency, and we've lacked that. When you only got 5 or 6 guys that you can kind of go to and kind of trust for the most part, or know what you're going to get out of them when you send them out there, and you don't have much depth. And when you don't have much depth, it's kind of flip of a coin at times. You try to put them in the right situations to succeed, and hopefully it happens. Sometimes it doesn't, and we've had a few hiccups this year, which has been disappointing. But for the most part, the 5 or 6 guys have been consistent and are go-to guys, and that's who we're looking to build off of.
How do you coach starting versus bullpen work differently? Getting heated up middle of a game, tight situation, supposed to come in and either be a closer or come in a key 7th, 8th inning situation. It's got to be different mentally than if you're Zane or Brandon or whoever might be starting on Sunday.
Yeah, all the training starts in the fall. When you kind of have your set guys of who you think are going to be in a starting role, you start working with them on mental preparation throughout the week, routines. It then goes into pitchability, physical, their body, all that stuff.
What do you mean by that, pitchability?
So most starters will have more of a repertoire. They'll have more of 3 to 4 pitches that they can kind of go to. They'll have better durability. They'll have more consistent strikes, more command of pitches, and so on and so forth. When you get a guy who can start, usually you kind of see all the things that he can do. Whereas a reliever, you might get more of maybe he's got high velo, or maybe he's got a really good breaking ball, but maybe it's just 2 pitches. Maybe the mental process doesn't pick up as well. Maybe his durability is not as good. So there are guys suited just for relieving, and that's not a bad thing. But for the most part, when you get a guy that can start and you get hands-on with him during the fall, and he can start to build and really show what basically he can do. And he's got to do it for a long period of time. I mean, it's 100 pitches in a game. It's 20-something starts in the season. There's just a lot that goes into it. But I think every kid wants to be a starter. Everyone's not suited to do it.
How does a pitcher acquire durability? Is it size? Is it reps with the arm in the offseason to build up just shoulder and elbow endurance? How do you know? And when do you know?
A lot of things that go into it. I mean, if you look at our 2 guys who have made every start this season, Brandon and Zane, you look at Brandon, big 6'9", good long lean frame. He's worked really hard on his strength to be able to make every start. But he also doesn't have quite the durability that Zane does as far as being effective for a long period of time as far as 100 pitches. Where Zane, with an easy delivery, his arm action works a lot easier, maybe not as big in stature as Brandon, but the delivery allows him to be more durable for a longer period of time. It just goes, there's so many different, some guys are a little shorter but with big, strong legs, lower half. Some guys just shorter arm action, easier arm action. So there's all different types of cases that can help with durability.
And there's different ways to get it up to triple digits. There's Billy Wagner versus Randy Johnson. I mean, there's different body types and different sizes that kind of come in all shapes and sizes. But if you're a reliever, like let's take Grant Taylor, who had a really good outing as a starter at USC. He went 50, maybe 60 pitches. I forget the exact number, but he wasn't throwing that many pitches in some previous outings. So how did you know? Is it just tracking velocity, or in the game, is it asking Grant how he felt? Like, what was your gauge for, all right, it's time to hook him, or, yeah, I think you can keep going. Let's put you back out there.
Yeah, so other guys that are valuable on your staff are kind of those swing guys. You got Grant Taylor, Dakota Hawkins has done it quite a bit. So you have guys that can start but also relieve. And, when they're in the reliever role, it's usually middle relief. We've had used Grant and Dakota at the back end as well, just because we haven't had much consistency back there. But it's really valuable to have those guys. And when they do get in the start, usually their pitch count isn't quite as long as far as Zane or Brandon, who's been starting every game.
Right.
So on that Sunday against USC with Grant, you kind of have a pitch count in mind for him. 65, maybe 70 pitches, 5 or 6 innings, if everything goes pretty clean. And then you just watch. For me, it's watching. Is the velocity dropping, or is he mechanically breaking down? Is the arm getting tired? And if he's not becoming effective, then to kind of go to the bullpen. But he gave us a great start there and was really good, and he gave us everything that we needed, and then we went to the bullpen.
What are your thoughts on advanced analytics and all of that data has brought to baseball, and then things that maybe aren't so advanced but are kind of really all the rage, like spin rate? Everybody's looking for high spin rate and what that means, and maybe tell some fans what spin rate means to you and how you track that sort of thing.
Yeah, there's some great things out there nowadays. We actually have the resource now to do it. We put in TrackMan earlier this spring, which is analytics of spin rate, different types of movements, angles, and all that stuff. And basically, you're trying to use that technology and that data to match up what a guy can do, what's his specialty. They talk about how the fastball moves. And if you look at Zane and Brandon, Zane has a big, heavy sinker. The ball moves a lot downwards and side to side. So you look at his horizontal movement, moving side to side, and that's what the two-seam fastball does. You look at Brandon with a straight four-seam fastball, and you talk about his vertical break. I know I'm probably spitting language here. Most people don't know.
No, it's great.
But that also shows how the ball carries. And some people say, it looks like the ball's rising. Well, the ball can actually rise, but to actually the eyes of a hitter, it does look like the ball's riding, and that's some spin rate stuff. That's some vertical break stuff. So there's a lot of technology out there that is very valuable. We do like to use it. It would be dumb if we didn't, because that's where the game is going. But it's a mixture too. I trust my eyes. I trust my background as far as being a player and stuff. And there's so much more to the game than just the technology, but all that stuff is very valuable into the development of the players.
There's got to be some stuff you can't track. There's got to be some emotional component. There's some mental makeup. There's just some things that the TrackMan's not going to track. I mean, it's not everything. It can't be.
Well, balls and strikes for one.
There
are times when you get a guy up there and we're actually doing a bullpen maybe with all the data stuff and tracking all that, but there's no strikes thrown. So let's take a step backwards.
Right. Great spin rate, but that's ball one.
Exactly.
Doesn't really help much.
Yeah. So there's a great balance to it. I'm always trying to learn as much as I can from friends that I know, pitching coaches that I know about that stuff, and then how to implement it and just really help our players and making sure that they develop properly.
You've had personally have had a fast ascension to Pac pitching coach. I mean, if you look at your coaching career, you're new to the Pac now, and this is your first Pac season. You're here last year as well, but with COVID. But what's that like for you as kind of one of the new guys on the block here from the Pac pitching perspective? Because the Pac's kind of I don't know if I'd say it's the pitching league, but it might be. It's certainly one of them.
Yeah. No, it's been a great challenge, to be honest. And when you play UCLA and you're looking across the way there, and John Savage, one of the best pitching coaches, probably of all time, is there. You know what it is. It's the Pac. It is a pitching league for the most part. But it's been really good going through this experience, just to see all the different types of offenses that are in the Pac. I think it is actually evolving into more of a physical type offense. You look at Stanford. Arizona State's very athletic.
Arizona can hit.
Arizona's very, very offensive. I think they're the best hitting team in the league right now, and we're just right behind them. But it's all different, but it's very challenging, to be honest. And that's what going through this process, it's good to learn, because on our side of it, as pitchers, we need to have some pitchability. We got to hold the run game. We got to do all sorts of things that the Pac-12 offenses, they're showing us.
It must be really, maybe a security blanket's the wrong word, but it must be fun, I suppose, to see how Brian Green has relationships with all these guys already. I mean, he was on Savage's staff for 4 years. He was in Corvallis. He had all the SEC success with Kentucky, and then you guys, of course, knew him in the WAC and won the WAC in Las Cruces. But there must be a certain puffing of the chest. You're new to the pack, but he's not, and he's the skip.
Yeah, he's a skipper, and we follow him.
Yeah.
And it's great because he has taught us so much about the league. What to expect, where we need to get better at, and trying to get in front of it. So that's why I think, too, we feel confident moving forward into, the upcoming years of advancing faster, just because of his knowledge and his experience in the league. And, he's our leader, and we're going to follow him, and excited for what's to come.
That's awesome. Thank you for this time. It's really fun to talk to you. We really do wish the skipper well, and be back with us probably tomorrow, I think, or Thursday. Yeah,
he'll be back ready to go for the weekend.
Yep. All right. Thanks. That's Anthony Claggett, pitching coach here as we get set. We'll talk to Terry Davis, recruiting coordinator, coming up. Third base coach and recruiting coordinator, as we're talking baseball prior to this Husky series on Thursday.
Right now, the gap between what you should save and what you can save has never felt bigger. The U.S. Bank mobile app can help by finding ways to help you reach your savings goals with personalized insights that fit your real life, to make your financial goals feel within reach. Because even our tools are smart enough to put people first. U.S. Bank. We'll get there together. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Get game day ready at Rosars. Rosars is a proud sponsor of WSU Athletics and your headquarters for keeping snacks stocked up for game time. You'll find the largest craft beer selection, local and imported wines, and all the makings for your favorite cocktails. And while you're there, stock up on your favorite deli snacks, pizza, rotisserie chickens, and ribs. Don't just watch the game, experience it with your favorite game time foods. Get game day ready at Rosars.
This is Derek Jones, and you're listening to Cougar Baseball on the Washington State Sports Network.
The weather is changing, and now is the time to prepare your home for winter with some new energy-efficient windows from McVeigh Brothers. McVeigh Brothers specializes in top-rated Coeur window series that has the newest technology to reduce your heat bills and the perfect replacement doors to secure your home. And right now, when you install 4 new quality windows, we'll give you the 5th window at 50% off.
McVeigh Brothers Siding and Windows, we're working for you.
Give us a call for your free quote today.
At Boeing, we support events that bring us closer, make our communities better places to live and work, and help us build a sound future together. That's why we are proud to be the title sponsor of the Boeing Apple Cup Series. When we celebrate this long-standing rivalry, we celebrate Washington's spirit, and that's something we can all get behind. The Boeing Apple Cup Series, here for the rivalry, here for the tradition.
Back at it here with our recruiting coordinator, Terry Davis. We want to wish Skip the best. Brian is on the mend, and he's non-COVID related on the shelf here for just this show. So we have had a lot of fun talking with Trevor Hairgrove and Anthony Claggett, and now recruiting coordinator Terry Davis as we get set for this final series of the year against the Huskies. You've got a unique perspective on Coug baseball here. You're battling against the Ducks and the Beavers, and you being the Cougs, but you're the recruiting coordinator fighting for talent and trying to get guys here onto the Palouse. What have you learned? You spent a lot of time on the road in Kentucky, in kind of SEC country. You played ball. What's your perspective of Pac recruiting now as you're trying to get guys to come here on the Palouse? We're crimson and gray.
Yeah, I think it's
Obviously the BTO has played a gigantic impact in terms of recruiting. Recruiting has been a little bit different just in terms of COVID and how that's changed the landscape of things here over the last year and a half.
Because guys can't visit
and we haven't been able to, I think for the last 17 months, just because of, or not the last 17 months, but dating back to just when the dead periods line up in terms of our normal recruiting calendar.
Right.
We haven't recruited off campus for about 17 months, as with everybody else in the country. But that's just that's made it not necessarily harder, but you have to do a better job of just developing relationships and more time on the phone and leaning on scouts and guys in the industry that you trust. And the BTO has had just a gigantic impact on the success of our recruiting up to this point, just to be able to sell that vision on the front end, and then now all of a sudden it's here, and we can't wait for recruits to be able to actually step foot in there and see the impact of that moving forward.
I guess you don't even really totally know the full impact of it yet. I mean, guys haven't been here as high schoolers to see it, but you've just kind of told them and showed them.
That's correct. The 2020 class, which is the first class that we've had here at Wazoo, the high school freshmen, the transfers that are here, they're ranked number 29 in the country by collegiate baseball, and they were sold on a vision of where the program was going and what the BTO was going to look like and how it was going to impact our program.
Right.
And all the classes moving forward, the 21 class that we signed in November just because of COVID, those guys haven't been able to step on campus yet, so we can't wait for those guys to be able to get here and see it, and to not only see the impact that's going to have on recruiting, but just to see the impact that it's going to continue to have on our program and our team and our culture and just all those things is what we're really, really excited about. And we had our own version of that at New Mexico State, and obviously on a much smaller scale, but we've got to see the impact, from that standpoint of what an environment of being really close together on a daily basis could do to your team and your program, and we can't wait to see it continue to grow here.
How'd you get hooked up with Skip? How'd you guys meet?
So Skip and I met, I think, 2009 or 2010 at the University of Kentucky. He was, just got hired there by the University of Kentucky in the SEC. I was currently at a NAI school in Kentucky, and I was out, just grinding away, just an assistant at a smaller school. And
was it Spalding where you played, or was
no,
it?
No, it wasn't. It was
okay.
at St. Catherine College,
okay.
the NAI school at the time, and obviously you're not making a lot of money at that level, and I'm out grinding in the summer trying to make some money, and I'm working camps at the University of Kentucky, and then Skip comes in, and we just meet. He's back. He's not recruiting. He's home for a camp, and we have a invested interest in infield play and hitting, and we just kind of hit it off. And the next thing you know, we're doing some camps together, and the next thing you know, our wives are hanging out, and the next thing you know, here we're in Las Cruces, and now here in Pullman. So it's been a really fun ride, and we've developed a really obviously great working relationship, but most importantly, just a great friendship with him and his wife Becky and his kids, and it's really been awesome, and he makes it fun to come to work every day.
Do you feel like you got acclimated to the West Coast in Las Cruces? Being in Pullman, you're probably crossing over with Big West, WAC, Mountain West. Everybody kind of is on top of each other here trying to find guys to go play in their various leagues.
No doubt. Yeah, we got an opportunity in Las Cruces to obviously meet a lot of other coaches and see a lot of players on the West Coast. And being in Las Cruces at New Mexico State, you're not going toe-to-toe with Oregon or toe-to-toe with UCLA a lot in terms of recruiting, but you're in the environment and you're in that arena and you know what it looks like. You see the guys that are going to ASU, you see the guys that are going to Arizona. And, coming in here into Wazoo and into the Pac-12 for the first time, for me personally as a coach, it was – we felt good about, and obviously with Skip, being here in the past, we felt really good about the type of player that we needed to get to be successful, not only long-term, but quickly. Yeah,
there must be, and reiterating what we talked with pitching coach Anthony Claggett about just a couple minutes ago, he has he already knows the league. He's been at two different stops here in the league and for a long time. He'd been here in the league for half a decade. So he's got a really good sense, even of how the ballparks play and all that stuff. But then the kind of talent, like he can look and say, no, I don't know if that's going to work. We're going to need X, Y, or Z. And it's really interesting that Trevor Hairgrove mentioned, players, you can identify certain attributes of players at a high school or a junior college level who have maybe a flaw or something they need to tweak that Skip would be really good at fixing and quickly maybe.
Right, and well, let's be honest. Skip makes my job really easy because he's one of the best hitting guys in the country.
It's really, I tell you, it's really fun,
so,
and I've learned more than he. And I've tried to be a sponge, and I try to listen when I'm back there before games. But just to hear him talk about it is really fun, and you can just soak up more than I think he realizes. I'm trying to learn at least.
Right, he's the absolute best, and he does a really good job with the relationship side of it. And he can really connect to a lot of different people. So, my job as the recruiting coordinator is to give him a lot of power, give him a lot of speed, give him a lot of versatility, give him a lot of left, give him a lot of right, and he can teach power guys to hit. He can teach a left-hander to slap it in the six. So just my job is just to give him variety, and he can put together a good lineup in the spring. And we've had we got a little bit of a track record now, and we've been successful every single year on the offensive side of it. And again, he makes it really, really easy.
We're up against it here. We're going to take a break. We're talking with recruiting coordinator Terry Davis. We have our, I believe, final segment coming up next. We'll confirm that. It's either one or two more segments. We'll get it set with Mitchell Lee back in the studio next. We're live here from the Martin Stadium TV press box in what has been a unique COVID-affected coaches show year. We'll be at Zeppo's next year for sure with all the friends and family there in attendance. All right, we're live here talking with Terry Davis, talking baseball.
The Kalispell tribe has always had a tradition of giving back, even when there wasn't much to give. But since opening Northern Quest 20 years ago, we've been able to give back more than ever, with 1,500 jobs, $20 million donated to the local community and nonprofits, and a $275 million economic impact on the region annually. So here's to the Kalispell hospitality that made it all possible, and to another 20 years of even better days ahead.
And now, a moment of chill from Coors Light. Coors Light, mountain cold refreshment, made to chill in a canoe, holding a beer instead of a paddle. 2020 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
You're listening to Cougar Baseball on the Washington State Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
One of the best parts, I think, about being an orthopedic surgeon is you have the opportunity to help patients and hopefully have an immediate impact. They have pain or they have decreased function. We get to really see them get better. We get to see their function improve. We get to see them continue their active lifestyle. It's such a rewarding thing to be able to see people get better.
Dr. Kyle Hazelwood, one of 4 surgeons at Pullman Regional Hospital's Orthopedic Center of Excellence, the region's top choice for total joint replacement. Learn more at pullmanregional.org.
For Cougs, there's no place like WSU. Late night apps at the Coug, early morning tailgating at Martin Stadium, and every day spent rocking the crimson and gray. And until we get back to campus, Cougs can keep a piece of home wherever they go with the official WSU debit and credit cards from BECU. Learn more at becu.org/WSU, federally insured by NCUA.
Back at it live here, talking with recruiting coordinator Terry Davis here of Cougar Baseball. You went to Lewiston 19 years ago as a player. How did that work out? Who were you playing for? What was the situation there?
Yep, absolutely. I played at Spalding University. I was in high school in Louisville, Kentucky. We had an opportunity in 2002 to come out to Lewiston, and what an outstanding opportunity.
You guys must have been really good.
We were. We had a good team that year, and I think we were just talking about this before the break, but I think in 2002, I'd have to go back and look, we were something around like 52-20.
Really
we played Cumberland University and legendary coach Woody Hunt on the way to Lewiston, and we were fortunate enough to beat them to get here. And man, what an awesome experience. For me personally, growing up in Louisville, Kentucky, I'd been kind of all over the southeast as a player, but I hadn't been on the West Coast before as a player. And we flew into we flew into Lewiston.
Yeah.
Or not flew into Lewiston. We flew into Spokane.
Oh, did you?
Then made the drive.
Okay.
Down to Lewiston, and just to be able to drive through the Palouse and see all that for the first time.
So you saw the grade and you saw the whole thing.
Coming up over the mountain, and then there's the Snake River in Lewiston, and it was an absolute awesome experience. And back then, obviously no COVID, and we got an opportunity to do some community service prior to the tournament. And,
oh, wow.
Went to some elementary schools and, read books to children and played wiffle ball with the kids. And it was a really, really eye-opening and neat experience. So for that to come full circle and, get to come back here, 17, 18 years later as part of the coaching staff is really something.
Yeah, that's really special. That's super fun. And now here you are playing the Huskies. Big rivalry coming up Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It must be a super fun way to kind of put a bow on this first year because there's a lot of youth. There's a lot of there's a huge bright part of this future coming up here. I mean, like you said, you've really just started to dig into the real meat of what the BTO could be as the recruiting coordinator here.
Absolutely. First Apple Cup, man. We're absolutely fired up. I know the entire coaching staff is. I know our team is. And we're excited for the week. We're excited for the weekend. We've had a good week of preparation this week, and we got another day tomorrow. And our kids we had an off week last week, and our kids are healthy. They're fired up. They're excited. They're energized, and we're excited to go chase it.
Hey, thank you for this time. It's great to talk to you. It's great to get you on a headset. Super fun to talk to Trevor Hairgrove and Anthony Claggett. And I was in jest before. In all seriousness, Skip, feel better. We hope you're 100%, any minute now, and we'll get you back out there tomorrow, hopefully, if not for the game on Thursday. I want to thank Jared Kylo for getting us on the air, and our man behind the camera, Jared Prenghuber, does a great job. Mitchell Lee is back in the network studios. Thank you very much for the time. Really appreciate you. Go Cougs. 2:45 airtime for the 3:05 pitch on Thursday against the Huskies. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. 3:05, 3:05, 1:05. Go Cougs.
Awesome. Go Cougs.